Cutting it close? I'm pretty sure you mean saving the best for last.
Hello, it's BrickBot, and just like last year, we have a drill of the second part of the new Tobot season dropping in. And with that comes the new toys. So, you know who this is. This is our returning fan favorite old character in a new form, Tobot W. Yeah, so I bought this a little bit late. If I wanted to be its ASAP, I could have pre-ordered the young toys, but the freebie they were giving out to the first 500 customers was just a free smart Tobot, and I already have all 3 of those, so I didn't feel the super need to pre-order that. Even though a free smart Tobot would have been a good giveaway, I'm sorry. So I decided to wait to get it locally in store, or online, or maybe 40% off with the coupon I just got from the KCLF, and I also reviewed this there. But that 40% off is not for the newest Tobot toy, so that's a must. Then I saw this in the Dongdaemun market. That was the cheapest price I could see at the moment, so this was the best deal I could get. I had to wait there, so now I have the new Tobot W box in hand. I mean, it's a pretty wide stance. Yes, we have the return of Nathan. A bit older in a new suit. Kind of purple and orange inspired by W's old colors. Light on with the toe phone. 3 light features. Yeah, so the background is pretty simple, like streaks on the ankles, and then W. Tobot W Hyundai Kona Electric. And the Coreoid mode with the 2 faces. Of course, it always includes the display stand, and this is May of 24. Young Toys Hyundai. Nice portrait here, and another nice portrait here. The Hyundai Kona is a recent line of subcompact SUVs. Yeah, so not as big as an SUV, but yeah, that's still pretty sizable. And this is just like the 2nd generation of Kona, so relatively new. Pretty sleek design. And of course, the more futuristic pixely bumpers, and then also on the back here, like pixely tail lights. I think there are also pixels on the back tail light, but they're a little too small for this rendition of the toy. But these are painted really nicely. And then of course, one big futuristic striping, single striping across here. There's a nice printed Tobot W front license plate. And raised letters on the back here. These Tobot W dash, that is all raised right below the printed Hyundai logo, so that's a contrast. That little unsightly cutout right in front of here, that is the charging port door. Because this Kona is an electric vehicle, forgot to mention that. So yeah, unlike where it usually be on the side, it's just right in front, just, you know, push door, and then electric charging. That's futuristic design, I guess. It has a good amount of black paint, like the front bumper trim and then the side trim that more on the middle rather than all the way on the bottom. But that does flow with the back of here. And the nice silver trim right on the bottom of the windscreens that goes all the way back to the rear spoiler. Little antenna here. And windshield wipers. Of course, the Kona does have some trim options, and Tobot W specifically goes for the Inspiration trim. Because it has the roof rack bars and the 19-inch alloy wheel design, which only the Inspiration trim has. The premium one also has an extra wheel design, 17-inch, and apparently doesn't have the roof rack here. And also these headlight designs, they are the printed 3 stripes, which is the projection type headlamps. Tobot W has toe phone lamp features with that right on the Hyundai logo, and you have a constantly lit headlight. Option 2. Kind of pulsating, slowly pulsating. That's a pretty nice effect. This one is just a constant blinking. These are more slower paced beats than Tobot A's rapid blinking. Also powered by the same batteries. And of course, Tobot's signature car design is just being a bit squished, but Tobot W doesn't look that too much squished compared to other cars, SUVs. Maybe just a few centimeters, but it looks pretty natural even when it's not exactly true to scale proportions. Yeah, which was also inherent with the original Kia Ray W. This is also slightly squished, but it looks natural enough. Oh yeah, this is a much more sensible color than just a purple roof. I mean, that's a nice color statement. Yeah, and Tobot W also takes up a new different car type, you know, the subcompact instead of this cutesy little like city compact van. I mean, they're both vans, but this is a much more sleeker van than this pretty boxy thing, which Kia is still sticking to this day. You know, even with their new Ray, it looks very similar, just with a much more solid looking, just much more less grilly looking front. And to go over Tobot W's car designs again, there's a nice hollow foil one. On the back of here is Tobot W's face. Another pose in a orange background. This one has the Tobot logo and then the phone screen setting with the new Nathan. And the touch pattern. Yeah, slotted in from this side, the card-sized toe phone, and then now it's time for W's transformation. So yeah, this is a simple leg fold. It's a double knee, but with extra knee flaps. Then you gotta split those apart. And then feet. Yeah, just be sure to lift forward these fronts. And then heel all the way around 270 and then extra back heels. Don't forget, he also has side winglets. Then yeah, simple split here, and then hood down, and then wing out, double fold. And then turn the biceps, and the wrists, and the little canard wings, canard arm wings. Don't forget these tiny little flaps that fill in the shoulders. That's really easy to overlook and just go on for a good chunk of the review without noticing. Huh. Oh, okay. He also has sliding door wing shoulders. Hard to see, but those sliders are extended into car mode. I guess it could sort of function as some suspension mode that just compresses in. I mean, that would have been nice if it was extendable suspension, but it's not. That was a pretty simple, but also much more streamlined transformation than the Kia Ray W transformation. So, a lot of connecting tabs. Lots of tabs just to kind of force pull apart with the clips. Also, overlap connecting tab, and then also double hinge that kind of uncomfortably brush close to each other. Yeah, and you know, this is still the plastic in the 2012 plastic, you know, back when this was not the hard, shiny ABS like it once was, and then, ooh, mine also rusted in the central hinge. Yeah, so it feels a little clammy. And you're gonna miss out on the spring-loaded wing flip-out action. Yeah, but this felt most uncomfortable because you have to force the double hinge on this roof the wrong way. Not the wrong way, but a very snappy way. Yeah, you can hear all the ricketiness. That's not rickety, it's just squeaky. It's fine if you get the hang of it, but you know, the plastic feels old. I mean, the plastic feels cheap. I mean, not just streamlined in transformation, but also looks. I mean, this is much more sleeker and leaner and looks more aerodynamic than this pretty wide boy. He's a pretty chunky boy. It's just the chest. I guess also because of the expanded Kia car width, yeah, that also just makes him look very much wider. Because of also this feature where he has hidden pilots. Of course, this doesn't have that. And why would you need that? To have the illusion of that? Exactly, because, you know, this is not to scale. It was a nice feature at the time. This was a nice little gimmick at the time, but how necessary is it to show that kids could pilot the car right in the hood? Remember, Tobot W means Tobot wing, so he does have the nice wing feature, aerodynamic features. Just a nice aerial features, I mean, like to indicate this is like a flight Tobot. Of course, he has the shoulder wings, though I guess they're maybe a little unsightly because the wheels are right here. I mean, nothing wrong with wheels, but they're high up on the shoulders and they're on the shoulders instead of like a backpack. Like, it would be more practical. And also, you know, the animation always spruces up things and makes those wings much bigger than they actually could on the toy. You know, because these were the car door fronts. It just only these parts of the car door instead of not including this part for some reason. So yeah, this is physically as big as they can go, but at least they do have a presence on the toy because they're right out in the shoulders instead of just like right on the back. Because you can kind of see the wings, but they are kind of covered up by his big blocky shoulders and these really kibbly arms, these kibbly doors that, hey, these could have been the wings themselves, but he has extra wings. I mean, these are the main wings and these are just kibble. Unless they're extra flight flaps, but not really. And also, I guess, extra winglets. He had extra. These side flaps also formed extra winglets. I guess that this design simply did not have the budget or the good engineering budget for. And I guess this is more the modern design of the jet propulsion systems because it's much more square. These are much more analog, big, round boosters. As with these are much more narrower jet engines than these pretty analog winglets. With some implications of some little turbines there. Yeah, so of course this kind of looks a bit, you know, transformery hollow because of the back transformation here. While this looks pretty filled out because those were the entire back of the cab of the car. And even the front gaps here where they had the legs had to fold, they looked pretty filled in. Because of the dark colors. Yeah, at least he has these extra things, these flaps, which look like they're just flaps for getting the feet out of the way, but they can also function as ailerons, I guess, to, you know, adjust flight. Yeah, so I guess he probably has to imagine he has to keep his arms straight while flying to get a good balance there. Otherwise, if he moves around the arms, it might throw off the flight a bit. Well, this might be more stable, but I can't deny this new Tobot W design does look more streamlined. It's kind of better looking than the original Tobot W with its chunkiness. And also his jetpack battery box.
Let's go.
Reminder that the dub took away Tobot W's iconic echoing voice. Because I guess Scott McNeil couldn't do it. Yeah, this new Tobot W is definitely not going to be having Scott McNeil returning. In fact, the new Tobot Z sounds more like W than Z ever did, so I'm fully expecting Dagan Mans to do a double duty of Tobot W and Tobot Z, who will not be speaking in echoes, just like how they couldn't bother with Tobot Doc's punctuation verbal tic, exclamation. So Tobot M just speaks normally. Tobot W's new head design, he does keep the aerial pilot visor, unlike the newer Tobots, which go more for the double eye look. But I guess though that W-shaped visor, that's more of a plastic outset that does kind of look like teeth instead of the kind of being inherently baked in there. That's a very big W and a very underpainted white spot over the transparent plastic, so that white painting method didn't turn out as well on the original toy, so it should have used some more paint, but I guess this is okay. Little darker orange highlight antenna ears. And the head crest and the little chin. And if you can pull out the Coreoid, this does require some force because of these tabs, and then flip out. He has a happy little smile. The Coreoid has a happy little smile in contrast to his more serious aerial look. Yeah, this is the W design they went with, like the one with the cut in the middle. Kind of makes it look like two U's, W. And a very slight trapezoidal upward, and I guess this streamlined redesign also kind of influences his powers. Because Tobot W is also the Tobot of Ice, and now he has ice hands. Just shooting ice from his hands. Which is, you know, much more compact than just a pretty analog ice gun. which is just a recolored Z gun, which was not included with Tobot W. The variant with the thinner middle handle instead of this thicker handle for some reason. Yet, it has to be this thinner one for Tobot W to hold it. Coincidence? Imagine like that, so... I don't know if it's if you consider that a downgrade that you actually can't have a concrete idea that Tobot W could shoot something with ice. Even though that was only in the show in the original. And then, yeah, what sort of technology, realistic technology, allows us to store sort of any cryo-freezing all in the hands? Especially in these hollow spaces. Yeah, you know, you can see the budget striking when you have, like, pretty Hasbro levels of hollowness all back in here. And it just, especially in the inner forearms. It would be bad if it was covered inside, but... that's budget cuts. I guess for a really strict price point. And of course, the biggest point of contention of the new Tobot W is that he's not purple. He's not the original purplish purple like he originally was. Because, you know, nostalgia, they just wanted to see him just with purple instead of just this blue, this pretty common blue that really evokes more of his Mach W design than his original purple that was much more iconic, or his anti-flame mode, which is closer to the toy colors actually, yeah, but not quite sure the show colors. For some reason, he was a much more darker blue, and this is just a pretty plain blue, but... Yeah, so this new Tobot W matches these colors more than his iconic purple colors. You know, because purples were uncommon, but I don't know what sort of reasons they would have for not going with purple. I mean, in interviews, I checked those. The toy design process did experiment with different colors, including green and red, and then purple. Maybe those purple were just like test colors, or maybe part mapping colors. Maybe I'm just coping that they didn't actually consider going with toy purple. For articulation, he has a nice full head swivel. And nice ratchety shoulders all the way around, thanks to shoulder wings on shoulders, and then ratchety all the way outward, with these bits naturally folding out, and then you have to manage to push back down, and then ratcheted bicep swivels, then wrist in. Oh, these elbow joints just wore down. And those shoulder joints are fine here, but might be concerningly snappy here. Concerningly snappy elbow joints that turn into no snappy elbow joints. Waist swivel. Great waist swivel. Ratchety forward and then ratchety back. You can see the nice ratchet points here, the ratchet joints. Clearly constructed to do the nice splits. Thigh swivels and then a double knee. That is a pretty nice darker orange, and then looks like a good spot for thigh swivels, but there is no thigh swivels, and yeah, that is some very noticeable flashing. Transparent clear plastic hinges on these car back. What is it with young toys insisting on using clear parts for structural hinges? Which seems to hold pretty well, unlike Hasbro's clear plastic, which is pretty thin on smaller Transformers. Then, foot down, which actually the soft locking points are kind of awkward. They're not at a perfect straight stance, so you're gonna have to kind of manually adjust them a bit. You're gonna have to fiddle around to get them between the stopping points. So I guess this might be slightly tricky to put in a natural pose with the thigh swivels and the pretty tiny feet. Whereas I guess this original Tobot W had maybe bigger feet. Not to compare, but then again, you know, no thigh swivels kind of make it harder to stand in a walking pose. Hey, I managed to balance him on his tippy toe at one time. When I actually got to play with him first at the KCLF. Yeah, this works. I guess the new Tobot W toy is just like Tobot A, because they're both very simple and straightforward car 2 bots that are very well articulated for Tobots, because biceps and waist, and no obtrusive gimmicks except for this very integral light gimmick, which is very welcome and it works very well. Yeah, so if that's all you're looking for in the Transformer, then the giant Tobot, if that's all you're looking for, then yeah, it does fine. But of course, the debate of, you know, Tobot V toys are actually better than Tobot, it's still gonna keep going even though Tobot V is over. Hey, but nice gimmick with the Season 2 Coreoids, because looks like they all share the same body unlike the Season 1 Tobots. So, mix and match away. But how about W as an update to the character? I think it's a pretty good update. I mean, in terms of function and style, just much sleeker, more articulation, better plastic. But I guess, you know, the people, old fans are just kind of missing the old, you know, maybe the more definitive flight aspects of Tobot W, just the wings, jet boosters, side wings. While this one, I guess, is more of the modern, more subtle flight features. Except for those wings on the shoulder, but... And of course, everyone's gonna keep complaining about how they miss the purple colors. They're never gonna live that down. Speaking of color, there is going to be a special color change version of Tobot W, the new Hyundai Kona Tobot W in red and blue. That is technically not the new anti-flame mode. But it's a color that's similar, just kind of inversed. Like red and blue. Kind of like Optimus Prime colors, but more technically Tobot, Great Tobot X colors. Yeah, I don't know if that was an intentional callback, but you know, just red Hyundai Kona also looks pretty good. You are never gonna stand. And the impending mini new Tobot W is going to have bat wings. I guess that's a simplification of One Piece simplification of its door wings, but they look like bat wings. The slow and steady pace of one new Tobot toy character every third of the year. So for the last third of Season 2, expect a new combiner.